Persona 5 is a very special kind of game, one that only comes around in such precious few moments during a gaming lifetime. You've heard the term time and time again. They don't make them like they used to. It's a phrase I find to be overwhelmingly true as more time passes on. There was a time where art, and this time we can specify video games in particular, used to completely encapsulate me. Picking up a controller meant the opportunity to enter a brand new universe. My senses were enchanted. The very core of my being felt fuzzy and warm. You can't get this kind of feeling from playing Tetris. Well, maybe someone can, but what I'm talking about takes a very particular set of attributes to create magic in something. It only applies to those very select and timeless works of art that fully embody the feeling of that word, magic, when every aspect of the story, characters, tone, music, events, the very identity, all culminate into this indescribable experience that you'll never forget. There's art, and then there is this esoteric realm of creation that goes beyond that. Something that really wakes you up and makes you realize why you love to indulge in all of these things in the first place. They used to come a lot more often than they do now. Call it what you will. I have my own theories on what's happening and what's been missing, and maybe I can speak about it in another video. But the fact of the matter is, this kind of magic is very few and far between these days. It's very hard to find, so when I do, it is a noteworthy event for me. This is what happened when I discovered Persona! Right, Persona 5, that is. To be fair, this is the only game I've ever played in the Persona series. I haven't even heard about it until recently. But that's the beauty and the curse of an anthology series. You can jump in at any point. A good friend of mine helped me stumble upon this one, and I was almost immediately floored.
Right on! What's up, Persona? This effing rocks!
Yeah, that basically sums it up. This game is quality. This game is the definition of quality, and it makes so many other games before it pale in comparison. The story is mesmerizing, the characters are brilliant, and above all, it's colossally fun to play. Not even to mention, I bought the Royale Edition for $40, and I got about, 130 hours out of the game? Not a single extra purchase necessary. Take note, gaming world. This is how we break free.
It shall become the wings of rebellion that breaketh thy chains of captivity. Let's win this!
I just started this game. I have no clue what's going on. I mean, already I'm fighting leopards and leotards, so I think I'm in for a treat. Oh, jeez, man. They should put a seizure warning in here. I'm getting dizzy. Oh, weird. Mask wearing. I forgot people were doing that before it was cool. Oh, did I say cool? I meant enforced. Alright, let's see what this guy's all about. Unfriendly officer. Wow, this is super nice. What would a friendly officer do? Piggyback me there himself? It's my stuff. Yeah, let's get comfy. Change into some better clothes. Wouldn't want to do all this cleaning uncomfortably. Wait, I'm changing again? So I got comfortable to clean, and now I'm changing into even more comfortable clothes to sleep? Uh-oh, something's going down. Drunk man is bothering that woman.
Ow! Please stop!
Why am I just standing here and watching this? I guess I'm waiting for something to happen. It doesn't look too bad. They're kind of just shuffling around. Is she in danger? Is she in danger? Alright, I'm being insensitive. Come on, let's go save her. Go get her, man.
What a waste of time.
Be the hero.
You think
You're not, and he's not saving her. You're not saving her.
I'll call the police!
I'm just getting a closer look at this
Call him if
point.
you want. This ain't a show.
Yeah, says you. My guy's obviously enjoying this. My eyelids are starting to get heavy. Does he do this every night? Does anyone actually think about their eyelids getting heavy while they're falling asleep? Oh, dude, I can't find the Ginza Line train. I'm lost in a train station while switching trains. I'm falling asleep while looking at my phone. My eyelids are getting heavy. This is just my life, the game. I can't believe how hyper-realistic it is.
What the hell?
Well, I mean, for the most part, realistic. The entire premise is one of the coolest I have ever seen, not to mention one of the most unique and creative ideas ever put into action. You have an ordinary group of high school students who discover the metaverse. To put it as simply as possible, it's a dimension created by the collective unconscious, where hearts reside. They take it upon themselves to find evil and corrupt hearts and use their power to defeat the phantoms that lurk in the metaverse and steal their treasure, therefore changing their hearts in the real world and making them confess for their crimes with their own mouth. They don't just beat up criminals, lock them away, and call it a day. They actually conform them on a metaphysical level. They call themselves the Phantom Thieves of Hearts. In order to make the treasure appear for them to steal, they need the real-life version of the villain to become afraid of it being taken. So they send out calling cards, telling each boss that they are aware of their evil deed, and by this time tomorrow we will have stolen your heart. This happens, as the cards say, miraculously to the public world, and so they develop a huge following, and all of the buzz in not just Japan, but all of the world. Who are the Phantom Thieves? How do they steal hearts? It's an epic tale that also plays into some relevant philosophical themes. How to tell who deserves their heart stolen? And is this group of misfits really in the right to decide upon themselves such massive repercussions on the world? They go into the realm of hearts, steal evil desires, and make the culprit confess with their own mouth. That's quite the phenomenon, and the worldwide reaction is so totally spot on to if this would happen in real life. They're the ultimate thieves, the Phantom Thieves. It's a brilliant concept. So fun, so immersive.
Let's keep pushing on that. The sign was for the school, right?
Dang, the game is roasting me, giving me this option. I have no idea.
Jeez, you freaked me out.
Oh yeah, thank goodness. You're just a
student?
creepy frickin' masked
Hey,
knight.
the costume's
Phew.
impressive.
You didn't make a pass at her, did you?
I cannot tell a lie. This game pegs me every time. It was cute. What can I say?
Maybe you're just naturally drawn to athletes?
What?
Sorry, bad joke.
Yeah,
That's all I
pretty
wanted
terrible.
to
That didn't make
discuss.
any sense.
You're free to go.
So the way this game works is the big bad guys have such evil desires that they create these places called palaces in the metaverse. They basically serve as the levels for the meat of the game. You decide when you want to go once you find one. My crew has been trying to get me to go for a month now. I just keep saying like, hey, calm down, be patient, because, you know, I want to do stuff. And they just like, yeah, you're right, I'm too hot-headed. What? Like, from their perspective, what are we waiting for? We can go at any moment, but I'm just like, we got all the time in the world to stop a child abuser. Why don't we just go work at my part-time job or see a movie?
Wow.
Cake Night Rises. I know what you're doing. I had my fun, but then I missed the cutoff by a single day, and I have to redo 6 hours of playing. That's 6 real-time hours. So the joke's on me. Rule of thumb, always do the palaces right away. You'll have time to go on dates later, you cheeky little rascal. I'll kick you into next week. Please do kick me into next week. Kick me into next month, so I don't have to do this again.
Thank you very much.
The thing that really brings it home for me is that everything in this game matters. None of it is fluff. All of it is useful or beneficial to you in some type of way, which is weird that I even have to praise it for something like that, considering that most games are just filled with such nonsense to waste your time. There's no endless stream of collectibles that give you zero reward. There's no useless orbs that you're collecting thousands of for no reason or anything like that. Everything you get, see, and can do is useful to you in some type of way, which is just such an astounding accomplishment considering how much content there is in this game. The people you talk to actually can give you useful tips or help fill in the game's lore. The dialogue is specific to whatever point of the story you're in. This really makes it feel like a real live town, where the events of the story have an impact on the community, compared to just some random NPC sitting on a bench going, "I like sitting outside," or just something pointless. It's the four-color theorem,
This is
obviously.
Correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
You must really be smart to answer a question. Wow, thank you. It's so kind. Oblivious? Come on, which is it, game? Am I smart or not? Oh, I know this. The placebo effect. Yeah, right. I admit I've been looking up the other ones, but I actually did know this one, so... Yeah, feels pretty good when the class praises me. That's right.
Nice.
I'm a genius. Ah, cleanup? I gotta clean the whole park? Knowing this game, it'll probably be like an hour-long mission of just picking up trash.
Down.
Should I change into more comfortable clothes for it? Dang, word travels fast in this school. Looking for drug. He searched Shibuya drugs and got tons of hits. I think Ryuji's a little too innocent for this mission. The anime cutscenes are freaking awesome. It's such a great touch. I only wish there were more of them. So much more. This story is absolutely loaded. I mean, it's over 120 hours, and I would say, what, a good 60% of it is watching people stand and talk? They give you little animated cartoons of whoever's speaking, and it definitely helps a bit, giving something else to stimulate you visually while you listen to all of this. Kind of has you use your imagination to fill in what's missing. The thing is, I didn't mind it too much because the story was so good that it was able to distract me from the fact that most of the time nothing is exactly happening on screen. But it is definitely one of the game's biggest flaws, if not the biggest. And look, I'm merciful. I understand that there's so much to unpack here, and I wouldn't expect them to have full motion video for every minute detail. But a little more, an extra mile would have gone a long way. They have the anime cutscenes. I think it would have served as a far superior experience if they utilized this a lot more than they did. Over 120 hours, seeing most of the cutscenes play out like this,
What does that all mean?
it can get a bit tiresome. Sometimes I went so long without them that when I saw it again, I completely forgot they existed and begged for more.
Whoa, wait, hold on. Was that Morgana's butthole? That was totally his butthole!
The thing that saved the game and made all of this worthwhile was the protagonist you play as and his active role in these moments. Being able to choose what he says during these segments really makes it feel like you're part of the conversation rather than just sitting back and watching it happen. And the protagonist, Joker, was done exceptionally well. At first I was a little bummed that he didn't technically speak. I find most narratives where you're the character to be just absolutely unexceptionally dull. Most of the time they're a brick wall that events happen to or around them. There could not possibly be any sort of emotional attachment to anything your character does or goes through because he just isn't a character. He's a lifeless puppet that doesn't actually feel like he's a part of the game, more like it was photoshopped into the whole thing after it all happened. And yeah, credit to whoever's Sonic Forces and Xenoverse characters these are, they're not mine. Oh, please don't let me review either of those. Joker couldn't be further from this experience. This is exactly how a character in this fashion should work, and it actually gives me more hope for games like this down the line. The nice thing about him is that he does speak and plays a huge role in the story, though you, the player, get to choose what he says. There are a cavalcade of different options of how you want this character to act. You can make him passive, excited, aggressive, sarcastic. Choosing his responses is a brilliant way to keep you actively engaged in the long story, and especially during massive exposition sections. It's the best attempt at actually making you feel like the character you're playing, like you're one of the friends in the group, though at the same time he feels like his own person with a life of his own that you're just borrowing. Somehow he has this massive presence in the game, and an established character that you can see between the lines even though you're choosing, quote-unquote, who this person is. And props to the developers for that, because that is not an easy feat. I will say that yes, most of these dialogue choices don't alter the story or actually really matter in the long run. That's okay. The effect here is feeling like you're a part of something. Like this person really is you, along for the ride. You can even name them whatever you want, and if you use your own, you're further cementing this ideology.
Whoa, 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 hey now! I know that's not what I think it was, but geez, it was a little too close for comfort.
Can I hold your hand?
I guess that was a big no. In Mementos, they have little moments of dialogue where the characters start talking, I guess because there's like idle time. But I've never once heard a full sentence through, because it stops as soon as you hit an enemy, and there's enemies up and down this whole place. So it's just a very poorly designed thing. It would have been cool if I could have heard what they're saying. There's probably so much dialogue I missed because of this.
My stomach is rumbling.
Wow, man, why does everything have to be so sexual? I mean, I get that it's an anime, so, I mean, let me phrase the question this way. Why does anime have to be so sexual?
Look, I'm not an idiot. It's a rhetorical question. I know why. But if people actually knew about sacred sexuality and sexual energy, it'd be a different planet. They are sucking your energy dry, squeezing you like a lemon, my friends. And it is all over this game, head to toe. Or should I say toe to head? Futaba's in the 8th grade.
They're showing her from the feet up in a bathing suit like this? I get the joke was that her face was covered, but that really didn't make it okay. This is weird.
That was truly cringeworthy.
And then on the whole game is annoyed at Ryuji, saying things like, "You perv, blah blah blah." And then all of a sudden here in her most vulnerable state, she's leaning all over him like, "Oh yeah, you like this, buddy?" What?
Are we messing?
Oh, Joker spoke. I didn't say that. He's gone rogue.
Can I just take a moment to give a round of applause to all the characters here?
They're incredibly well written, each so believable and deep with depth. I was totally fine with just the OG crew of Ryuji, An, and Morgana, and then new characters kept coming and coming. At first I was a bit overwhelmed, thinking it was possibly too much and I didn't have the mental energy to learn about all of these new people, or wondered about how they would fit into the Phantom Thieves. But soon enough, all of that melted away, and I couldn't imagine the group without any of these additions. I'm so impressed how they managed to have 7 main core characters, and each of them flow so well in the confines of the story. It became a real group of friends. The dialogue was so realistic, like you could overhear it at any coffee shop or even with your own friends. The coy shots taking at Ryuji, or the subtle little drops that everyone finds Yusuke weird but loves him anyway. Not to mention how long this game is, and how 90% of it is dialogue. Insanity! They were so alive, living, breathing people that I feel like I know personally, could possibly meet in my day-to-day life. You never get tired hanging out with these guys, even if you realize after an hour of playing all you've been doing is hanging out with them or sitting at a diner chit-chatting. That could literally be hours of your playthrough here. And it's still a fun game. That's legendary. It's funny how they all have little catchphrases, but Yusuke says the most obvious things possible.
This is my other self. I am thou.
He's just repeating what the game literally spells out for you.
That's like Superman's catchphrase being, "I'm an alien from Krypton," or Spider-Man's being, "I was bit by a spider."
Let me tell you, I am good at this dark game. I score a perfect game, and then my partner Ryuji screws the whole thing up. I didn't even know that can happen. So you can play perfectly, but you just have to hope the AI does well too, or else you're screwed? What a load of garbage. There was a man in my dream. You still half asleep? Oh, that's crazy? You don't believe me? We've been spending the last few months battling demon monsters through a sub-dimension that takes place in people's hearts, and a man in my dream is crazy? Let me also just say, I don't know how no one knows they're the Phantom Thieves. They text about it all day, every day. Their phones are 100% bugged. I guess the NSA is slacking in this universe.
I'm gonna use the restroom and then pay the bill. Check, please.
I feel kinda calm when we're this close. You're okay being like this, right?
What the heck is a remora? Okay, it's a type of fish? What a weird reference. Do you need to be a marine biologist to understand all the humor this game has? Is this a well-known fish? Like, am I dumb here? I don't know.
Takamaki-san! You can speak English, right?
Basically, yeah.
You can speak English pretty well
That's
yourself
amazing.
there, kiddo. Dude, you know how long I've been at this school? I look up every answer to this, so I get every single one right. It's been months. It's been months, and they still, like, they're shocked that I'm this smart. I know they don't know I'm looking it up, but at this point, you think they'd catch on.
Ghana. Like you're cheeky cute? Cute?
Morgana's been in love with Ann this whole game. Like, yeah, it's sweet, but let's get real at this point. What are you expecting her to say? You're hot, Morgana. You're a freaking cat, dude. I'm telling you this as a friend. Yeah, I'll hang out. What, are you disappointed? You asked me out, you jerk. I know I said the dialogue choices don't actually matter, but that's not entirely true. There are some that actually do matter. Throughout the game, you meet a bunch of different confidants. There are people you meet along the way that you make an agreement with and form a relationship. It's very much give and take, hence it always starting with a deal. You help them progress their story, and you're rewarded with whatever special and particular perk they have to offer. With these, basically the nicer you choose your response to be, the better your relationship will be. Sounds obvious, right? And luckily the correct response is usually that glaringly obvious. If you decide on Joker being a cold, heartless jerk-off, which you totally can, your playthrough is going to suffer if you're mean to your confidants. The stronger your relationship, the stronger your character. So be nice. During main segments, though, you can be as mean as you want. And while part of me wanted to just see the reactions, you spend so much time as this guy and with these people that I can't help but just treat them well. They feel like family, and this feels like you. I don't have it in me to be cruel. And I gotta take a minute to talk about this music. It's so freaking good. The songs will be stuck in your head for weeks. Most of these tracks you'll want to get up and dance to, which isn't often for video game music. Even the best are more atmospheric and better for immersion, while these are just straight up jam tracks. If this came on during my 8th grade dance, everybody would be up, and you know how socially awkward those are.
That's crazy.
Yo, the show times are insane. So let me get this straight. Yusuke says to Ryuji, I got a great idea for a super move. Not really worked out yet, so let me run it by you. So here's how it'll go down. You're gonna be in a bar, you're gonna be really hungry, and then I'm gonna make you some curry. It's gonna be so good. You can't wait to eat it. And then whoever we're fighting is going to obviously burst through the door. How do you know? Just trust me, it will. And then of course what happens next is you'll get mad because you can't eat the curry and then you'll kill him. That's it? That's it. I can't believe these kids get to go across the world to Hawaii for a school trip 3 days after school starts. My senior trip was to a pool 1 town away. I know Ryuji has a big mouth, but they're not even being subtle anymore. The guy's talking about the Phantom Thieves, and right in front of me he's like, dude, they've heard about us. Also, how are they even talking to these guys? Don't they all speak Japanese? Is Japanese Hawaii's second language? So the Phantom Thieves are blowing up, and the TV's talking about calling cards and masks are a high sell. Double from last year? First of all, how does anyone even know Phantom Thieves wear masks? That's impossible. Second, double from last year? Who was buying calling cards last year? And masks? Could it be another premonition of the pandemic?
That people would be excited to hear me speak.
Why is this dude shaped like a question mark? Oh man, I haven't even talked about the combat yet. Look, what's to say? It's turn-based RPG at its finest. Each character has their own specific and varied build, and they all complement each other. You can choose when you want what character to join you, each sporting their own specific type of attacking, so depending on the enemy or boss you're facing, you'll eventually need each of them to turn the tide. Joker is the best character by far, having the ability to carry multiple personas and the option to fully customize each one opens up loads of possibilities. The in-battle options are plentiful. You can use a regular attack, a persona that comes with a variety of offensive and defensive special moves, as well as a unique gun to each character that acts as an alternative attack, and then eventually you can even unlock team-up showtimes for some of the characters. It plays a fancy scene and brings a ton of damage. There's a system in the combat where if you successfully exploit a weakness, you get to baton pass or attack again, basically giving you another free turn. And if you keep hitting weaknesses, you can keep getting a turn. This can be a godsend in long palaces where you're cleaning through enemies and don't have to wait for each one to take a turn. It also can lend you quite the advantage in tough fights, but the trade-off here is that the same rules apply for the enemies. If they hit your weakness, they can keep going. And sometimes this ended in a brutal takedown. When you're properly baton passing to each fighter, you can rack up an insane amount of damage before they even get the chance to attack. There are different kinds of elements a persona can use. The classic kind of magic like ice, fire, lightning, wind. But there's also nuke, bless, curse, and psych. Each of the characters who join the Phantom Thieves specializes in one type of this magic. Joker can be a master of them all. It's so funny to see them all near death, about to lose. Super desperate, and then boom! Yeah, victory! Man, they got over that one pretty quick. Then to take it even further, if you're able to pin down each enemy, you start a sequence where you can hold them up. You can have funny conversations with them where you convince them to join your crusade, adding a mask to Joker's arsenal. You can force them to cough up some change or an item. Then you have the ultimate, being an all-out attack where your whole team wallops on whoever is still alive. Something that really sucks is that no matter what is happening in the fight, how well the others are doing, if Joker dies, you lose. That's such an unnecessary handicap that caused so many problems. It really changes the playstyle, focusing solely on the protection of Joker most of the time instead of using your whole team as a unit through and through. The other members of your team are just as important, and it would play as a much better experience if you could fight until the end with whoever was left. If you happen to get unlucky and have each enemy gunned for Joker, which can happen, you're done for. Not very fair. If you get downed as Cloud, you can still use Barrett or Tifa, the whole game doesn't end. We're all on the same team here, we're all equal parts. There's so many different ways to approach combat which keeps it from becoming stale, and it's tons of fun to collect different personas for Joker, level them up, and decide which ones fit best for the mission you're on. And what really sells it all is the brilliant balance between combative action gameplay and social passive gameplay. You never get tired of either style because it switches over to this complete different kind of game, always at just the right time.
We went in, right?
Security guards seem to be gone, but it's difficult to tell for certain.
How's it look over there? See anything?
Nah, it's totally normal.
The hell?
Wait, so you're telling me they've been on this huge ship and they couldn't tell that it was a boat until they went all the way to the end of it? Come on. Oh, it's about to get pretty hot and heavy with my doctor. You know she doesn't live at the clinic, right, dude? Did I take my teacher back to the school? Some of the shadows are creative, to say the least.
I didn't know there was a safe room here.
Well, how would you know? We don't know where anything is on this ship. None of us have been here.
Let's do it.
I feel calmer when I'm under pressure now. I wonder
Why
if
does this
it's
kid sound like an
because I'm
old
not so
woman?
obsessed with
This is a
winning
horrible choice for a voice actor.
Hey, I invited some people here today. The
It's been
collapse of
acknowledged
Olympus
that
should
only
affect the
people who
public
go
as a
into the
whole.
metaverse can understand
The state of society
Morgana.
would change
So
too.
Sojiro and
If
Sai are
everyone's
just
health
sitting here
goes
listening to him.
Responsible for his actions.
All they hear is meow meow
Things might
meow
start
meow
going
meow
our
meow
way.
meow.
You must be tired.
Not at all. Not even close.
Honestly, you're amazing. There's definitely something special about you.
Oh, never mind. I can barely keep my eyes open. This was seconds later.
He's
One of, if not my all-time favorite thing that I love about this game is it's actually very inspiring for your own life. Take away all of the personas and metaverse and monster fighting and you have just a life simulator. In fact, that's most of the game. It's like Sims, but adding on top of that an epic half of monster fighting and invigorating story. You can get as layered as you want. Here I am playing a video game with the dude I'm playing as in a video game, and this part doesn't even take place in the metaverse. But going in with this mindset can give you a lot of great insight for how to live. I already mentioned rule number 1 that you can learn from the confidants. Be nice. The nicer you are to people, the more they'll help you and build you up in return. So always be kind and you'll be rewarded with kindness. Another lesson, it's all about time. The whole thing is measured with calendar days, and everything you do causes time to move forward. This is a huge lesson. Nothing we do can ever be inconsequential. Every moment of our life is defined by the choice we make in that moment. Each morning, afternoon, and evening, we choose how we are going to spend that time. And when it's done, it's done. You can never get it back. So did you spend your time wisely? This is something you desperately try to do in the game. It can get overwhelming, especially towards the beginning. What should I work on? Who do I talk to or spend time with? There's so much to do or see that it can be daunting to manage your time wisely. And that's the lesson. Never waste time. And you can waste time. You can really waste time. The best advice I can give is variation. Everything works in symmetry. The body, mind, soul, and Persona 5's gameplay. Do everything a little bit at a time and soon you'll build yourself into the perfect character. Truly, if you take this game's philosophy and apply it to your own life, it would be incredibly beneficial. There are even movements of people online who commit to these Persona lessons and attempt to make up their own life in a similar fashion. And I understand it. It's all great advice and a very wise way to look at how we are living each day. This can be twisted on its head though, and I think this is where Persona can take a pretty dark turn. It has a very do what thou wilt kind of vibe hidden throughout. Being a life simulator, you can do whatever you want. Like I said before, you can be a nice guy or you can be a bad guy. I don't mean you can literally be a villain or do anything you want. Obviously the story has to progress in virtually the same way no matter what you choose, but you can choose to do some nasty stuff. For example, each female confidant you develop a strong bond with, you can choose to eventually date, and I mean every single one. There's nothing stopping you from dating them all at the same time without any of them knowing. How you can date An, Makoto, Haru, and Futaba all at once for months without any of them knowing despite the consistent hangout is beyond me, but you can. I mean, I did it for the joke of it, but my guy has some balls going into a relationship with every single girl in the Phantom Thieves and expecting none of them to find out. They all look up to me so much. I don't feel right playing them like this while we all just sit around like casual friends. I'm using all of them. It's terrible.
Marriage, huh? Do you want to get married?
If I want to get married, I have to be careful about what I say here. I'm in a relationship with 4 of these girls.
Oh, come on.
If you choose to date, the game explicitly warns you there is no going back. And then you have sex with all of them. Any fantasy. The class president, your teacher, your sister, your reporter, your fortune teller? They cover every base, I guess. Eventually, if you get to Valentine's Day, whoever you're dating will all find out and confront you and beat you up. There's another lesson for you. Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. And literally in this game, Joker fights the powers of hell all day and gets beaten down by his own girlfriends. It sounds very silly and all in good fun, just a joke, right? I'm not so sure though. There is a darkness in this game that is overt and yet hidden simultaneously. First and most obvious is that the personas you use and collect throughout the game, they are all demons. This isn't even hypothetical, that's factual information. Look up some of these names. I don't mean in the context of the game world they're considered demons, they are literal demons. Not only do they outright state that, but you can look through and see for yourself. Lucifer, Satan. The shoe really dropped for me when I obtained Pazuzu, the demon that possesses Reagan in The Exorcist. If that isn't enough of a red flag, it gets a bit weirder. Ah, you hear that? Given to temptation? Subliminal messaging, check. I'm aware a lot of these, if not most, of the creatures are gods from ancient religions and so forth, but there are beliefs in demonology and different kinds of religions that categorize these pagan gods as demonic spirits. They show up a good amount more than just their particular religion. An Ara Mitama? Are you kidding? No, I am. I actually don't really know what this thing is. Oh, wait. No, I recognize him. I can't believe they put him in the game. He's so evil.
Spill it.
All of these confidants you form relationships with aren't just normal how-do-you-dos. They are contracts that you're signing. The game tells you clear as day. Each new confidant you make is a new vow you're making. And whenever you complete a confidant relationship, that vow turns into a blood oath. And what are you making a blood oath with? A particular arcana of the tarot, which is openly tied to the occult. In fact, the tarot is one of the biggest roles in all of Persona. It is the basis for the whole game. Each confidant represents a different arcana. And each arcana is a host to many different personas, or let's be real here, demons. it actually really got me thinking about the metaverse and how it worked in this game. It's a dimension created by the collective unconscious where our hearts and personas reside. So evil acts in the conscious world create shadows in the metaverse where demons become attached to you and wreak havoc. This all makes a lot of sense. In our own world, the concept seems the same. Our choices and actions create our reality. When you do evil deeds, you are welcoming in these evil spirits to reside within you. We don't know consciously this is happening, but a version of us somewhere has become a shadow. It's easy on the surface to pretend none of this could be happening or could exist, but other planes of existence do exist, and all of this is sound to what exactly could be happening to us. As I mentioned before, each of the female confidants you form a blood oath with you can have sex with. In fact, it's encouraged. Remember before what I was saying about sexual energy and sacred sexuality, sexual energy transmutation? Look up all of these things. Sex energy is creative energy. It's our prana, life force, our very essence. It is the strongest force of the human experience. Think about it. The act of utilizing this energy with a partner normally creates life. Literally creates life, an entire new being and consciousness. That alone should tell you how powerful this energy is. The stuff is literally holy. Naturally, in our crazy world, sex and sex energy has been completely and utterly destroyed, perverted, and obliterated. I'm not going to continue. I can talk all day about this, and frankly, it's a subject matter for a different conversation. But the point of me bringing all of this up to you is to encourage you to open your mind and your hearts. There is evil in this world. There is corruption. The planet is in an abysmal state. I'm confident that any person watching this can agree, whether consciously or unconsciously. I'm not telling you to dwell on it. The opposite, actually. We should be focusing on and coming from a state of love. But don't be ignorant to the fact that there are things out there not on our side, not trying to lift us up, but drag us down. Why do you think all the food is poison? The medicine keeps us sick. The media is nothing but horror stories. The rich get richer while most of the population crawls through the dirt. I truly don't know exactly what to believe. All I'm trying to do is live my best life and do my best to do the right thing. And despite how great this game is, I would not recommend it. In fact, I actively urge you not to play it. This dark shadow is too obvious, and I think it's best to just use common sense and not foolishly swallow everything that comes our way. Use discretion. I know some of you may brush this all off, say it's ridiculous, refuse to believe that a random Japanese video game company is trying to get you tied up with demons. You may be right, I don't know. I'm going off of just what I saw personally, all of these red flags, and decided maybe it's best to just stay away from this, at the very least. I'm a little worried about what kind of ties I created and contracts I signed by playing this game, but at the very least, I'm glad I'm able to come out here and warn you about it. There are games we can play and things we can do that don't end with us signing blood oath contracts with literal demons. Just a thought? Jeez, what an episode to follow my last, where I said I would start pointing out devilish or demonic themes when I see them. Since I started the search, so far we're 2 for 2. Let's push forward and see what happens when we come out the other side. And that's all I have to say about Persona 5. Fantastic game on the surface, potentially horrifically evil on the inside. Good luck out there, my friends. Stay vigilant, and I will speak to you on the next episode of The Art of Review. And because you've been so good watching through this super long episode, I'm going to tell you the next video that I'm going to do. A review.